Three, two, one. Welcome back, guys.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Logged and Loaded, the podcast where we talk about everything to do with Strongman. And today we're going to be talking about the official Strongman Games drama.
Yes.
Obviously, there was an email sent out to the podium finishers last night or yesterday afternoon, basically just highlighting the fact that they weren't going to get paid any prize money.
Yes.
Obviously, as you can imagine, this hasn't been received too well from the community.
No, not at all.
I did actually have a phone call with Lynn, who organises OSG every year, and cleared some bits and bobs up. Got a little bit more information about it.
Chat some beans.
There was less beans and
Less
more
beans?
kind of serious beans.
Ooh.
Serious
More
beans were
peas.
chatted.
More peas.
peas. Yeah.
Chatting peas.
Chatting some peas.
Chatting some peas.
So yeah, there's a lot. I think there's just a lot of things that need cleared up before everybody jumps on the pitchforks and torches.
I feel like a lot of people at the minute are happy just to jump at the pitchforks and torches before seeing all the facts and spread a lot of negativity about certain things. Obviously, there is problems, and problems always do arise, but if you can be a bit more positive about resolving these problems and talk. People need to talk more.
Yeah. So one of the things that Lynn did say was that nobody's actually spoken to him about this. They've just all jumped on the social media, which, I get it. Emotions are high.
Yep.
And the heat of the moment,
especially when things are related to money, a lot of people can be very quick to react. You're spending a lot of money to do these things, and then the promise of prize money's there, and you don't get it.
Well, so
and now obviously that's another thing from this that's come out. I'm just more mentioning other competitions that have promised prize money and maybe not handed it out, so to speak.
I wonder who you're on about.
Yeah, I wonder who I'm on about.
Anyway, but yeah, so on that point, so there was actually no promise of prize money. They never announced prize money this year.
Yep.
They also never announced prize money next year, but I'll get to last year, but I'll get to that. It was actually on the terms and conditions.
We have it written down as the way it was. Registration form said prize money assumed zero and are signed by each of the athletes.
Yeah, so obviously when you've signed up to compete, nobody reads these things, but it was there to read. Yeah.
You all had the option to do it.
Confirmed by athletes that was actually in fact there.
Yeah.
So some people did read it. So they did no prize money announcements. Now last year they also did no prize money announcements.
Yep.
Which I think then when it came to it, they got a bit of backlash, and then according to Lynn, he ended up paying a lot of the prize money out himself, which didn't match the prize money from the previous year. So he then got more backlash
for not matching.
Because it wasn't the same as the previous year.
The same or more.
Which is pretty shit if you've gone to the lengths to pay people out of your own personal.
And then you still get shit for it.
Yeah. The venue. So as you guys may or may not know, the venue was Arlington, Texas this year at the College Park Center. Great venue, really good. Very large. So few points as to why they chose this venue. They chose this venue because Texas is very highly populated. There's like 4 million people or something in Texas. And according to Lynn, there's 800 plus strongman athletes in Texas.
Yep.
Now, obviously, they're not all going to the official strongman games, but from novice and
from what he could see, none of them come and bought tickets to watch.
Yeah.
Wanted to see what the kind of uptake of strongman events would be in Arlington, Texas, which was pretty much none from what they heard.
Yeah. So
they made free tickets for college students, people who are attending the university there, the college, whatever you call it in America, I don't know. But only 10 were actually taken up, and I don't know how many college students there are at that specific place, but there is. I'm assuming quite a lot, and only 10 to be taken up when they're free.
That's terrible, really.
Is it advertisement, or I don't know where?
Well, apparently this is the first time it wasn't on the local news that they were coming. Apparently, but it had been advertised for a month previous. The free tickets, at least, have been advertised for a month previous.
Yeah.
There's also you have to put your zip code in when you buy a ticket.
Yeah.
And I think it said 50 or less people were actually from Texas.
Most people have travelled for,
which is just
presumably friends and family of athletes who are. You might have got one or two people like, fucking hell, I want to go say that, but
yeah.
it's a lot of money for them as well to go see.
Yeah. So part of the email said that going forward they would stop looking at spectators as kind of the source of revenue.
Yeah.
Because they're just not getting any.
No.
They're not. Unfortunately, I wish I could say otherwise. But like for example, I skipped the
opening ceremony.
Yeah, because I knew I'm not walking through that tunnel being like,
look at
with
me,
a flag or whatever, when there's nobody watching me.
Yeah.
Because as an athlete, that is massively demoralising.
Yeah.
It really is. And when you go out there, there is no one in the stands.
Yeah.
And the main people that are watching you are the other athletes from the other classes.
Yeah.
And they don't give a fuck because they're just waiting for everything to finish so they can have their turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously I get the vision behind it. I understand why they want it to be in like a big, exciting venue.
Yeah,
because, you know, if you fill up a stadium with fucking 10,000 people, that's going to be sick.
Yeah, it is cool as fuck.
And I think this was very much a test to see if you put it in a highly populated area, whether they could actually fill a stadium for OSG.
Yeah.
And the answer, unfortunately, is
no.
They can't. Which is a massive shame. Like even at Europe's York Barbican, we couldn't even fill the York Barbican with spectators.
It's quite a small venue as well.
It is.
A couple of thousand maybe.
Yeah, and we know loads of people, and we know very few people who came to watch that show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's put down that there wasn't any money from sponsors and they made a loss.
Yeah, he said they got a lot of sponsors involved, but the sponsors just didn't have the funds or weren't willing to shell out a massive amount of money to the competition because of the fact that they knew they weren't going to get much back from it.
Yeah.
Which is again another thing that's just tied towards. So at this venue, even though the venue was more expensive, it came with like an audio and visual package. So all the lights and fucking audio shit was already at the venue, so they didn't have to spend money on that.
Yeah.
Which is great, but it still worked out as a more expensive venue overall.
Yeah.
That's part of it. I think there's a vision there of what it could be, of what Lynn wants it to be, and
just not being able to execute it.
Yeah, to be fair to the guy, like he fucking loves strongman. He's super passionate about it. You can tell if you've spoken to Lynn for 30 seconds or longer, you'll know how much he loves the sport. Like the dude's.
Is it like speaking to Adam Rumney?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like he just
pretty much is.
He will. You mentioned strongman, he will cream.
Yeah. So like, fair play to the guy. He's tried to make it a spectacle. Unfortunately, it just hasn't gone that way. So he has said that moving forward, what they're going to do is instead of prioritising spectators as a main source of income, what they're going to do is try and look towards cheaper, smaller venues, and instead make it cheaper for athletes and their friends and family to come.
Yeah.
That way, the 400 and 450 athletes, whatever it is, will get somewhat of a perk of it being different. Instead of just the top three in each class getting paid, which is like, that's really good. Like, because if you're going there and you know you're not going to place, which is the majority of the athletes, then that's going to help you out a little bit.
Yeah, you want to feel a bit welcomed, you know, like feel like there's a reason to go rather than just go there, get stomped, spend a lot of money, leave.
Yeah, because it's not motivating to spend $3,000 to go in there.
No, I absolutely can guarantee that's not motivating at all.
Yeah, so there's two ways to look at that. One way you could say it devalues the podium, because then being first, second and third is no longer, you're not being rewarded properly for that.
Yeah.
But then it does open it up to make it more accessible for all of the other athletes, some of which are coming from places like fucking
Australia,
like South Africa, Australia, places like that.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of athletes from around the world, and obviously I think from what you were saying, Arlington's easier to get to in America as well compared to Wisconsin or Ohio or whatever.
Yeah.
So that obviously trying to make it a bit more accessible there, but it's the balance.
There's got to be a balance.
You've got to balance everything, because you know, end of the day, promoters can't keep making a loss.
No.
If you want these competitions to stay on and stay continuing in some form, you can't continue operating on a loss.
No,
as much as you would like to pay out some money for athletes who have won, done well, whatever, if that's going to mean that you can't run the competition the year after, then who's the real winner at that point?
Yeah. Like, it's very understandable for companies to operate at a loss for maybe one or two shows, maybe 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
But then anything after that, it's just not a sustainable.
Well, it's that age-old thing. If you've got to break a few eggs to make an omelette. You've got to spend a bit of money before you can start making that bit of money. It's the same in any business.
However, in this, it seems they're spending money and not making any money. Which sucks for them and it sucks for us as well.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really comes out of this situation happy. I can see people being upset. It makes perfect sense being upset. But what do you want? Do you want the thing to continue, or do you want to just be paid and then OSG not go ahead anymore?
I think most athletes participate for the titles.
Yeah.
So the title of World's Strongest Man is worth more than the $3,000 or whatever dollars that comes with it.
Absolutely. So we have had some athlete suggestions. We've had our inbox has been blowing up overnight. A lot with suggestions and questions as well. Mm-hmm. So we know one of the things that Lynn mentioned was that he likes to use unique kit. He likes to use stuff that makes it a spectacle.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely awesome to see some of these bits of kit. But how much are they costing? Because a lot of athletes are wondering how much are these costing. Are they spending so much money on bespoke bits of kit that maybe they could use again, repurpose or redistribute into a different event?
But by his own admission, when he talked about the wrecking ball hold, he did say that perhaps he spent a little bit too much money on the wrecking ball hold.
Yeah.
But he just wanted it, like you say, he had that vision. He wanted it to be cool as fuck. And,
yeah.
I mean, it looked good. I'm not a fan of wrecking ball hold. I don't think it's a very good event personally.
Yeah.
But, you know, he built it. It looked cool.
Yeah.
He maybe wasn't exactly what he thought it was going to be. He's still getting complaints from athletes about how it went and this, that and the other.
That's over a year ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you are using these really cool bits of kit as well, athletes can train on something as close that they've got. So the big monster dumbbells, the big circus dumbbells, how many people are actually going to be able to get hands on something like that?
Very few, yeah.
So you could train on a monster dumbbell and be hitting 10 kilo well above the number, and then you get there on the day and you're really disheartened because the kit is so different that it essentially feels like a different event.
Yeah, there's always been things like that with OSG. So the anchor yoke in 2023 is part of the pressing medley.
Yes, that fucked everybody over.
There's no way you could simulate it in the gym. There's no way. So with a regular yoke, you could try and make it wobbly as you want, but it just didn't work. So I pressed way over the comp weight in here.
Yeah.
And then I went there and fuck me, it was not moving.
Yeah.
Well, it was moving, but it was moving that way and that way instead of that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see like people with like a 190 strict press and they couldn't get a 150 on it, and it's like, there's always something at OSG that's just that little bit different, and it's supposed to be because it's supposed to test how adaptable you are.
Yeah.
But when the weights are so heavy, you can't adapt there and then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you have to have a couple of goes at least before you're capable of doing it.
You're not going to get that 3 or 4 attempts to get the rest time in between to recover. You've got one go, and if you're not, because it's so heavy, you're not able to adapt enough to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So
repurposing kit, good idea, or potentially just using kit that's a little bit more standardised to gyms.
Yeah. Smaller venues, we've mentioned that a little bit. Obviously, the venue this year was a very big venue. There was a clear aim behind the venue being so big, but maybe smaller venues where, obviously, like you said, prioritise friends and family coming to watch. I know Natural Strongman kind of did a good job with that. You only had 2 bleacher stands, but you looked out into that crowd and you could probably pick 2, 3, 4 seats.
Yeah. The good thing about that is having a smaller venue. Like you could have the biggest stadium in the world. You could do it at Wembley.
Yeah.
And Wembley holds how many people?
90,000 odd.
90,000. You stick 500 people in Wembley Stadium, it's empty.
Yeah.
Right.
But you stick 500 people
into like a
sports hall
or a sports hall.
It
is packed, and then there's atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just changes the whole vibe of the competition. So instead of looking at getting tens of thousands of people to come, just get more people per square inch.
Yeah.
Or per square metre, whatever.
Yeah. Have a smaller space with more people. It feels more packed. It feels like the atmosphere is that
you
could have the same
of seat filled.
You could have a much smaller venue with the same amount of spectators as that were there this year, and that atmosphere would instantly change.
And you'd probably you're looking at like a quarter or an eighth of your costs for the actual venue hire there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that I know anything about that because I haven't got a fucking clue, but
no,
there's a good suggestion. I love that suggestion. I think that's really good. I think Lynn obviously touched on that when he called me yesterday. So hopefully that'll be the way things go.
Someone has said use more local staffing, so try and source people in the area rather than shipping people in to do it.
Yeah.
And they have put on that this could backfire a little bit, because obviously you don't know the quality of what the refereeing's like. If you've got a local athlete who knows this referee really well, that referee might give them softer down commands, might give them a bit more leniency.
Well,
but
even so, like for example, Tiff came. I'm not saying Tiff was a bad ref because she was brilliant, really good. I like that Tiff was there. I thought she was the best referee that was there, and she came all the way from Australia.
Yeah.
She would know people from Australia, I imagine, as well, who are competing. She's not going to do that. There was some shitty reffing as well, and there always is some shit. For example, last year was Odd Haugen. He's a legend, but he's a crap ref.
Yeah.
This year was Nick Best. He's a legend, but he's a crap ref. All right, like
Billy
just
Gold
factual.
Goatee.
Yeah, like I love Nick Best. I think he's great, but he's not a good referee, in my personal opinion. So there's not really much risk in sourcing some local refs or more local, at least American refs, if you can hold it in America. And then you're saving on some fees of shipping people over and paying them to be there for the weekend and so on and so forth.
Somebody has put on saying stop paying celebrities to turn up. The likes like Mitch Hooper was there. I know Lucas Hatton was there. Were they paid to be there? I don't know.
Don't know about Lucas Hatton because he was definitely there with his own brand.
Yeah.
Mitchell, I think Lift Heavy BK might have had a stall there as well. I'm not 100% sure. But the good thing about Mitchell Hooper being there is that he was on the floor making content with the athletes.
Yeah, he was making.
Which is good. So if you're going to pay somebody, at least pay somebody like that who's going to make some content, who's going to promote the show.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff he's done with Vince.
He's done,
so he's done a few bits of Vince.
But it might be worth having those people actively promote the show before the show instead of after the show or during.
Yeah.
Because then it gives people a chance to be like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. He's going to be there. I'm going to go down.
Yeah. Someone has put adaptive and junior classes to be cut.
Yeah.
So I can see both sides of this. Obviously, they weren't very well populated. It was an extra day at the venue that you paid for, which will be a lot of money for very few athletes. I quite like, especially the adaptive classes give kind of a bit more eyes on exposure, because like it was the blind guy, we'd never seen him, and he was unbelievable.
He was brilliant.
You've got to find that balance of cost to reward. If you're spending, let's say, for an example, they had $5,000 per day in that venue, it wouldn't have been a lot more. But if they're spending $5,000 and they're only getting like $200 in return for that day, where on the general weekend they're getting $3,000 in return, it's a less of a profit margin or less of a loss margin.
Yeah, like everybody thinks the adaptive and junior classes are great classes, but the amount of entrance was very, very low.
Yeah.
A lot of the adaptive classes were one person, which is understandable because it's going to be a smaller category anyway.
Yeah, a lot of the people who have disabilities and stuff like that are going to look at strongman and just go, that's not accessible for me at all. Yeah. They're not going to realise that there are bits and bobs that they are able to do, and that the adaptive side of the sport exists, because it isn't very well advertised at all. I can see both sides of the coin with that.
Yeah.
From someone who wants it to grow and be better, it's really cool that they're getting the opportunity to be in the same venue and do similar events and whatever, and be part of the same weekend. But from a promoter point of view, a business point of view, it's not there for you. It's not ideal.
It could be something that's run as a separate show in like a smaller venue. The fact is, until it can prove that it can generate income, it will be smaller, which is why the weight classes are so much smaller than the men's opens, because we haven't proved and continue not to prove that we can't, continue to prove that we can't actually generate that much of a crowd.
Be more transparent about prizes.
Oh, right, okay, so it was obviously in the registration form, terms and conditions.
But then again, if it's in the terms and conditions, who's on the day that they're signing up, adrenaline, the buzz that they're there,
yeah, no one's actually reading it.
And sometimes when you're doing that sign up, it's on the day that you're weighing in, so you're not thinking right, you're dehydrated, you're whatever.
This was actually on the registration form, right? When you pay to enter.
Yeah, so even then you're still excited.
Well, I think either way, most people aren't reading that.
No.
I kind of agree. Yeah, just if you're not handing out prize money, maybe say. But then they could have been waiting to see how the financials work out first. before they hand out prize money, which I think is why on the form it says presumed to be zero.
Yeah.
As in zero, but if we make fucking 10 million quid, then it won't be zero.
Yeah. One said OSG Europe's paid out.
Yeah, I don't think they intended to pay out.
No.
I don't think they intended to pay out at all. I think, because that was never advertised either. But I think when they started getting emails, I think that's when they were like, right, we'll pay them.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was ever intended. Now, I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah.
That's just my interpretation of events. But it was never announced.
We've also got some athletes think that Zadrunas might have been paid to be there.
So I think that's like, they might have paid like Mark Felix and Zadrunas to be there, some of the bigger name athletes.
Yeah, some people who
to
competed
go.
in
That is
Worlds
just
prior and stuff
That's
like
a
that.
presumption.
Yeah.
That's not, nobody knows if that, well,
No.
somebody will know.
Somebody will know if they were paid to be there or whether they were subsidised or whatever. But
I think their argument is why is that person worth more than that person?
Yeah, why-
Or whatever.
yeah, like Claire Myler,
Yeah.
absolutely dominated in both of the Masters classes. And why is she not getting that same treatment if they are, for example?
I think.
But again, it's a presumption. We do not know.
Yeah, it's a presumption. If you're going to pay somebody, you're going to pay somebody with the most followers, right? Or somebody who's going to have the most traction in that area. Zadrunas is probably not the best example. If the show was in England and you paid Mark Felix to be there,
Yeah.
or it was in Scotland and you paid Tom Stoltman
Jeff
to be
Caron.
there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's going to bring a crowd.
Yeah, because people know him through whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've also got some people think that athletes might boycott. Now, it's 50-50 because it's the thing of you're still competing for that title, and like you said previously, that title is still worth more than
It's worth way more than the price.
$3,000 or whatever you get. So chances are people will still take that risk to go.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything. I think a lot of people are saying that they'll boycott, and I'm not saying that they're not going to stick to the word. They fucking might do. They might go do PSL or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're in it because we're competitive, and the ego wants to win the title.
Yeah,
and
most
pretty much
people do this sport not because they want to make money, because they want to be fucking strong.
Yeah,
and they want to
wanna
win
be the
that
best.
title.
Yeah.
They want to be the best.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not football, it's not fucking rugby, it's not a sport that's highly televised and highly known around the world. It's a niche sport at the end of the day. And yes, we've got our own like big names in the sport and all that kind of stuff, but unfortunately, because it's such a niche sport, so few people are going to be able to make those mega bucks from it. Even things like football, you've got such a large base in that pyramid. And out of like every million kids who play football in the UK, you're probably going to end up with 10 playing the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like it's such a small number.
It is.
So when it comes to strongman, if you've got 1,000 people at the bottom, you're going to have one making a world's strongest man. Also, we have had a lot of athletes complain about the way the email was worded, and then at the bottom, basically saying that the Women's Opens are getting more opportunities with a world's strongest women's style event, Giants Live. Which further just pushes that gap between the Opens athletes and the weight class athletes.
It does. I think that could have been its own separate email.
Yeah, that could
I
have
think
just...
that possibly wasn't the right time to include.
No, I think that was
information.
definitely a mistake.
I think whoever sent the email, whether it was Lynn or somebody else, they were trying to soften the blow somewhat to say, look, we ain't doing this, but we are
going to
doing this, which is positive for this. But if you're not in the Women's Opens, you don't give a fuck about that.
No.
You just give a fuck about the fact that you haven't been paid.
Yeah.
And you're really sad now.
And you've spent however much money to get there.
I'm sure we're going to get flack from both sides.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is.
Yeah, we're not here to fucking shoot people down. We're not here to try and upset people. We're here to spit facts, give our opinions on those facts, and go from there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Guys, you might have noticed that we've just done a little weird transition there. That's because the camera ran out of power, so we're now using my phone just to film the last bit. So massive suggestion, I would say.
Excuse me.
One of our best promoters here in the UK is Adam Rumney.
Yeah.
I would get him on board.
Yeah.
Because he's fantastic at filling out a venue.
He's not just passionate about strongman, he also is business savvy.
Yeah, he's very good. And I think the combination of him and Lynn, who both fucking love the sport, would be a very good combination. They got 400 spectators at a novice comp.
Yeah.
Which is just unheard of, really.
Yeah.
So massive recommendation there. Official Strongman, if you're watching, which I'm sure you're not. Lynn might be watching, to be fair.
Yeah,
Lynn, if you're watching, hit up Adam Rumney. I can give you his number.
Yeah. Number, Instagram, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're probably looking at like things like smaller venues to make it a little
more
bit cheaper
standardised kit.
Hopefully more standardised kit. As much as the cool spectacle of the kit is.
I think you need to find a balance because OSG doesn't always have one spectacle bit of kit. They've always got 2 or 3.
There's multiple, yeah.
So maybe have one big event, like the final event, a big spectacle bit of kit, rather than a few different bits and bobs. Go for that one big one, and then everything else is standardised to give that like range. Do you know, like find the balance between them.
And I know one of the suggestions from an athlete was to cut the juniors and adaptive classes. I don't think Lynn will do that. I don't think he wants to do. Well, he doesn't want to cut any classes.
No. Yeah, he wants to keep all the classes there.
He wants to keep everybody running.
Yeah.
Because he supports every class, basically.
Yeah. We need more promoters in the sport like that.
Yeah, we do. We do actually. Definitely would encourage people to reach out,
speak with them,
and speak with them. You know, if you've got an issue or a problem.
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage that. You know, everybody knows that Lynn organises OSG and obviously has a huge part in it. So reach out to him if you've got issues, if you've got feedback, if you've got suggestions. He encourages that.
Yeah, absolutely. Give him a message. Same way, if you agree with any points we've made and you want to message us about it, absolutely please do.
Final points, what I would say is OSG Texas, Arlington, Texas was in my opinion, as an athlete competing there, I've been to 4, was the best one yet.
Yeah,
they did lots of little things to really improve the athlete experience.
Those little things you did right. If you haven't seen our previous OSG review episode,
definitely
we go through a lot of them.
Yeah.
There, positives and negatives. We just need to be a little bit better as human beings and not just immediately jump on spreading hate.
Absolutely. Good message. As always, guys, please remember to subscribe. We're trying to hit 100 million subscribers by Christmas.
Yes. If we do that, we will do our best KSI impressions.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
We'll get the bandanas out.
Get the bandanas out,
our 5 heads, which are already out.
But
yeah, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop us a comment whether you agree or disagree. That's fine. We're open to all kind of dialogues here, aren't we?
You can also, if you're listening on Spotify, you can also drop us a follow on there, give us a little review on there.
You can follow us on social, guys. We are at Logged and Loaded. I am at Tom the Owens.
I am at Kingfisher_strength.
So go ahead and do that, and we'll see you on the next one. And as always, go fuck yourselves.